Welcome to episode 11. Yes, I need both of my hands and another finger. They're episode 11. We have progressed in DB Home for Hope.
I'm in my new era. I'm better in my new era. I'm better in my new.
Where we create wealth that lasts generations. We have a special guest today. We have the executive director of No Walls Ministry. And this nonprofit does not compete against other nonprofits. We complete the whatever is needed in our community. So Neal, I'm just so happy to have you here. And we work together all the time anyway. So it's always good to see you.
Well, thank you for having me,
Yep.
Davina.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Neal, because I know you've worked in nonprofits for many years before moving from the for-profit where you help with senior care industry.
Yes, I spent many years in the corporate world. My highest level job and in that world was with a senior living company that was international. We had 400 properties where we cared for seniors with a faith orientation and a passion to serve.
Okay.
And then I moved into the nonprofit world when it became so much about the money. I felt the Lord lead me in a different way.
Yes. And so I want you all to definitely hear Neal's heart. We've talked about giving the tithe, the first 10%, and now we're going to talk about how you can give generously beyond just, the minimum 10%, because nonprofits really do a great work in our community. And so while nonprofits do need to make money to keep their doors open, it's not the first response is not about the money. It's about meeting the need in our communities. So let's jump right into No Walls Ministry. Tell me a little bit about the organization. And clearly I know about No Walls, but I want you all to hear too.
Yes, well, it's an organization that's been around since 2011.
Okay.
It actually began as a Center for Racial Unity, and it was formed in a way that would help us all come more closely together and know that we are one and not a bunch of divided individuals and groups. We have so many divisions and so many things that get between us. We want to be more together, and the way we operate with our mission is that we are here to reduce barriers and break down divisions through building relationships, cultivating culture, and promoting education.
I love it. Breaking down barriers. And that's what we do at DB Homes for Hope, right? We make sure that people don't have barriers to becoming homeowners. Neal just reinforced the fact that we're pretty certain that heaven is not segregated. So while the focus started the mission in 2011 about racial reconciliation, it's moved well beyond that. Because when we just do life together, those barriers break down.
That's exactly right. And that's one of the best quotes I've read of Martin Luther King, and you can see it on our website. It's a bit lengthy, but that's exactly the point. We're not together enough. We don't be together enough. And so when we started with that center, we began to have a meal together. And so a monthly meal was where we broke bread. And then we began to understand there are many needs that we could collectively solve and help people with. And so it developed into the appliance ministry and the community service ministry. And so therefore, it became a broader picture of more that we could do with different groups and all individuals coming together as one.
I love that. And you guys know I like a good meal. So the fact that you're going to come together to, as a community, going back to that, what the Bible says, right? Loving our neighbors as ourselves. And these things happen organically when you spend time together. When you spend time together and become friends, acting like neighbors, actually doing these things. So you talked about some of the problems that you're trying to solve. What are some of those?
Well, overall, you could say we would like to solve the problem of poverty. Lynchburg has one of the highest rates of a city in the state, but the Bible also says we will always have poverty.
That's right.
And so what we work with is not just poverty of material possessions, but I think maybe even more importantly, poverty of the soul and poverty of relationships. So many folks that we work with and that we're in contact with we all yearn for
That's
that
right.
relationship, that touch, that
Yes.
human ability to connect with each other and give the glory to God.
Absolutely. Because we are designed, like God designed each of us to be interdependent on each other and absolutely interdependent on Him. So while He doesn't need us to fulfill the Great Commission, He desires to use us. And if we don't volunteer, He'll pick somebody who will. So I like that concept you were talking about. We're solving problems in our communities. And while there will always be poor people, we don't have the volunteer to be one of them.
Mm.
So No Walls comes in and meets people where they are and builds a village around them. So tell me some of the successful programs and, and how have they been successful?
Well, I mentioned the appliance ministry, which is one
Yes.
of the earlier ones that we developed. And that was where we just discovered that folks need these pieces of equipment and it's not easily available to folks that don't have the money to do that. And
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like gleaning from the world. We can take those donated appliances, encourage all of you to donate your appliances to us,
Yes.
even if they're breaking down. We will repair them. We will take them to our warehouse. We will then deliver them and install them in people's homes
Mhm.
where they are delivered, where we pray, and where we wish them all the best that we can. And in the meantime, discuss the things that we can pray for them about
Mhm.
and start that contact so then they can come to our meal and do the other things that we have in addition to the other those ministries.
Right. So you see, it's not just the appliance is really just something to meet a need. So whether it's a washer dryer, because for me, a load a day keeps the chaos away. And if you don't have a washer dryer in your home, you've got to pack all that stuff up. Some of our neighbors may not have transportation. Put it on the bus. That means you're not going to do it very often. And so we want our neighbors to have these washer dryers that you can help by donating so that we can repair them or buy new ones. So a donation of whether it's $5, $100, or 300, and also refrigerators and stoves. These are the basic things that our neighbors need to function and to not have to have barriers.
That's right.
Barriers.
That's right. And those barriers might seem small or they might seem less significant to us than it might to others, but sometimes these things are huge. And just in terms of the washer dryer, one lady said, "This is the best thing I've heard since the crying of my first baby."
Oh,
I thought,
that is
wow,
huge.
that's big. But also, you mentioned refrigerators and stoves, those
Yes.
things that can keep people healthy and dignified in their everyday life.
Yes. We want people using our faith, showing the love of God. We want people to not just win with money. These things help reduce the expense for these families, but it also keeps their dignity. And for children, like going to school with clean clothes, that keeps, I mean, school is already stressful. I mean, for boys and girls. But if you're going there and your clothes are, unkempt and they smell, that is like an invitation for a child to be, embarrassed. And we just don't want those things. We want our children to go to school, focus on learning and growing and making friendships. No Walls ministry is not limited to just Lynchburg. Like we're here in Lynchburg, but we connect people because Open Table is not a local model. It's a national model, right? Talk
That's
about
right.
that.
Sure. The open table is a model that was developed about 20 years ago in Phoenix, Arizona, in a church where someone was out on a mission visit, if you will, giving out things to those that were
Mhm.
interested in having clothes and food and things submitted to them so they could have short term benefit. But one person came around the table and said, "I don't want your things. I want you. I want to be in
Mm.
relationship with you and this group here." And that tricked the mind of a man who was a marketing executive into developing the open table, which essentially is creating a family and a village around one individual. And
Yes.
so, an individual who might be suffering from poverty, transitioning from foster care or
Mhm.
incarceration, comes together with 6 to 8 volunteers that have been trained through Open Table University and have really become in tune to how to be an excellent listener and understand other lives they may never have come in contact
Right.
with before. And so, on that table of volunteers, we can have a range from a single mom doing great work to a surgeon from Centra. And what we do is exchange not just the love of the Lord, but social capital,
Right.
which means all the contacts and people and things that you know outside of the meeting room
Mhm.
from your world can be shared for the benefit of the person being served. And that model lasts a total of a year. They meet once a week for a year, and then the after plan is implemented where the relationships just continue and it just doesn't stop there. It continues on. And it has a ripple effect, I'd like to say, too, on others that have seen what's been going on and can see not just the transactional piece of getting people healthy and fed, but the transformational piece of long-term change.
Yes. So it may start as a transaction, whether it's an appliance or information or education, but it creates a transformation in the person's life. So, Neil talked about transitioning from foster care. He talked about transition from poverty or transition from like an addiction, whether it's drugs or otherwise, and alcohol. But it's really for anyone who does not have that village. Some of us have strong, groups of community, but there are some people who need just a little help on with transportation. Many times, No Walls has helped a person on an open table gain transportation, gain employment. Just so you all know, so we're being very transparent. Neil is the executive director of No Walls, and I'm the president. I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer who wants to help. So the same thing I do with coaching clients on DB Homes for Hope, credit score, budgeting, and savings is the same thing that I do on our open tables with our neighbors.
That's right. And that's such an important dimension, whether it's finances or healthcare or housing. The issues the friend will bring to the table range from everything from I need a driver's license to I've got a broken relationship with my mom, my dad, or my
Mhm.
brother-in-law. And we can all join in and understand and many times appreciate the challenges they're going through because we've been through it in one way or another ourselves.
That's true. So you're telling me there are no perfect people? We need each other?
That is at the heart of what we do. We are all broken people here, and we all love the Lord and know that we're here and commanded to serve each other.
That's exactly right. So, yes, I want you to do that 10% tithe. I also want you to tithe your the other resources the Lord has given you. Because given generously, and we talked in episode 10, yes, we should pay what we owe and give generously because where much is given, much is required. And, it's pretty amazing. Give us a story on someone's success.
Well, there are many, but I'll choose one is a single mom, and I run into a lot of single moms,
Yes.
especially in the
Mhm.
appliance ministry. This person is someone I met when I went to deliver a washer and a dryer. She was living in a very beat up home, just
Mhm.
having left homelessness when she was sleeping with her two puppies in her pickup truck.
Wow.
So she'd just gotten into this place where she could finally have a place to lay her head. We brought her a washer and a dryer. We had a conversation. I began to see the drive and the hope and the glimmer in this person's spirit. And so we continued the conversation. She told me her story, which for the average person, I have straight hair, but it could have curled based on what I heard. I'm telling you, the things that people go through that we don't know,
Mhm.
we walk right by it every day and we can't see it. But she had been through abuse, child abuse,
Mm.
substance abuse, incarceration, and all the things that you can imagine just about in terms of a rough bringing up. So we brought her onto a table. She had made progress on every goal that was established as we connected to a life plan that is created for each individual. She knocked off all the goals,
Mm.
including graduating from your financial course,
Yes.
which was a big step forward for her. We did get her a car. She's now working and is about to get a position with the state of Virginia as a peer recovery specialist
Yes.
for others with substance abuse.
Did you all hear that? That is a full circle. So this individual came to a table, gained the things that she needed, and the life plans are created by the individuals. The team helps, but we don't create it for them. They create it, and we help them meet those objectives that they create. Once she was strong enough, employed, transportation. She has the financial knowledge to win with money. She didn't just go on about her life. She said, "No, I'm going to reach back and help somebody who was in a similar situation." And now she's on a table. That is a major, you get a high five for that. That is a great story. Getting A's in the four F's: faith, family and friends, fitness and finances. That helps our whole community. It helps the individual, it helps the family, but it helps our whole community. And it's not limited to just Lynchburg. But also, when you steward well that 10% to tithe, 10% to short term savings, 10% to long term savings, so we can age gracefully, learn to live on 50% and keep the debt to 20% down to zero, then you can give generously.
And we all believe that you'll get more in return.
For sure. We want to be the good Samaritan
That's
and
right.
not the people that walk on by.
One other thing, if I could,
Yes,
just to bring
please go
up
ahead.
another dimension of the way No Walls operates, and that is in collaboration with other community partners.
Hmm.
We have church partners that support us, but we also work very closely with community partners such as Interfaith Outreach, Miriam's House,
Hmm.
Lighthouse. And in that way, we can really show people that it's not just us, it's a community of
Yes.
care. And even just to get someone through the maze of administrative challenges that are required when you apply for assistance. There may be many programs out there that they could take advantage of but don't know. And
Right.
we are able to say, hey, we have another whole range of contacts that you can take advantage of for your health and benefit. And so
Yes.
the collaboration with others just draws us together as a community and breaks down more of those barriers where organizations can have silos. We want to go
Hmm.
this way, not that way.
That's right. And you saw he just drew a cross. So
That's perfect.
we want to love God and love his people. And we do that through our interdependence on each other and nonprofits, for profits, and individuals who want to give generously. Well, thank you for episode 11 of DB Homes for Hope, where you will win with money and create wealth that lasts generations. So that you can answer the question, got money? Yes, you do.